Now in its 31st year, Clark County's court-appointed Special Advocate Program, or CASA, has provided love and guidance to thousands of kids who need it most.
My mom was a drug addict and she left when I was about 3. And when I was about 12, my grandmother decided that she didn't want to take care of me and my brother anymore.
For many of her teenage years, Jetta Geller spent lots of time in family court. Now 21, Jetta is married, and her bubbly daughter Evelyn will soon have a baby sister. Despite being betrayed by her own family, with the love of amazing foster parents and the support of her CASA, Jetta's life now has a solid foundation.
Her name was Cindy Hunt, and she was just extremely supportive. She happened to have been a paralegal in the past, and I was going to high school for law. So it made it really, really easy. I could call her and ask her questions, and she was just all around amazing. You know, even if I needed to just get out of the house, being around 4 girls, you know, she'd come pick me up. We'd go have Starbucks and have not drama girl time. So it was nice.
A CASA is a professionally trained volunteer whose goal is to advocate for the best interests of children. And our mission is to support and promote court-appointed volunteer advocacy so that children can thrive in safe, loving, permanent homes.
A CASA receives specialized classroom and courtroom training and is court-appointed to assist a neglected or abused child in the judicial system. The CASA's primary duty is to appear in court with the child, offering opinions, testimony, and written reports. But most of all, CASAs are a powerful voice, a tender ear, and a friend for kids in crisis. Clark County's Family Services honors CASAs during their annual Light of Hope event. Clark County started with 15 CASA volunteers in 1980 and has about 250 today, but more are always needed.
CASAs are asked to make a 2-year commitment when they join the program. Many of them stay an average of 3 years. But what we see is that even though CASAs, and we have trained at least 2 to 3 times a year, we cannot seem to get over that hurdle of 250 because CASAs will come and they will go. And so our goal right now is to try to train at least 100 new volunteers and try to retain even more of the volunteers so that we can start increasing our number of CASA volunteers so that we can ultimately represent more children in the foster care system.
2 girls, ages 9 and 11. It was a sexual abuse case by the father.
Carolyn Mascari vividly remembers her first case, and now she's the longest-serving CASA in Clark County. In the past 29 years, the grandmother of 10 has raised her own 3 children, and as a CASA, she's been an advocate for more than 150.
You have to care about them, but you have to be strong at the same time. You have to be able to stand up and say what is best for the child, not necessarily always what they want, and that can be very painful. I've had my moments of walking out of court and crying all the way to work because the kid was mad at me, but in the end, you got to do what's best for them.
I will say sometimes that the decision that I make hinges on what I hear from the child's perspective and from the child's point of view through their CASA.
Family Court Judge Cynthia Diane Steele is a tireless supporter of the entire foster care system and has built a special relationship with the program. She says a child in her courtroom is well represented when they have a CASA.
The CASA is just there for the child. That's the only reason that they're even there, is just to be for the child. So when the CASA comes in and I appoint a CASA, and I'm fortunate enough to get a CASA for a family, that makes all the difference in the world to these cases, because I hear from everybody and I hear the perspective that's not out there from the other people in the courtroom, and that's the perspective of the child's voice. It's so important.
I think I got my CASA when I was 13, and I went into care at 11, so I didn't always have one. And I can't say that having a CASA there in the actual courtroom particularly made it any easier, because you still think you did something wrong. But their reports always made it easier, because the judge would always look at me and be like, oh, I got a CASA report, says you're doing well, you're happy in your home, versus, you know, I don't know anything about this kid.
Being a CASA is priceless.
The best paying job you'll ever have, and you don't make a dime. But what it does for you as a person, how it makes you feel about yourself, is wonderful.
For more information on how to become a CASA, training class dates, and much more, please visit www.casalasvegas.org.